Hello and welcome back to Bookish, and welcome to my Saturday Hodgepodge, my weekly wrap-up of all things Bookish, booktube stuff, anything else I want to talk about. As you know, I film these on Friday, and I just got back from my tutoring job at the middle school where I started working in a part-time capacity as a reading tutor. I had a really good morning this morning, and thought I'd just go ahead and shoot my Saturday Hodgepodge video while I was thinking about it so I can have it posted tomorrow morning. One of the unexpected benefits, or one of the unlooked for benefits of working in middle school is that I now have access, once again, for the first time since possibly 1978, I have access to Scholastic book catalogs, and I have access to ordering books from Scholastic Books. So, fifth grade teacher was nice enough to give me all these catalogs and to encourage me if I wanted to buy books through her, because then her class gets extra points for buying books. And I looked through the catalogs with much excitement, you know, having all kinds of cool nostalgic memories of when I was in school, and I carefully filled out my order form on the back of another one, filling in the boxes and totaling it all up and making sure I got my math right. I turned it in today, hoping to have my book about John Lewis, kind of a hardback picture book about John Lewis. I'm hoping that book will come in the next few weeks. Really excited about that. I know it seems silly, and if you didn't do Scholastic book catalogs, Scholastic book fairs, then maybe you know, this means nothing to you, but to me it was really great, and I really enjoyed it. I have been indulging this week, Valentine's Day week, in what I'm just going to think is I'm going to call my favorite store-bought cookies. Now, I don't know if other people call them store-bought, but there's a difference between baked goods that you make at home, obviously, and baked goods that you buy at a store. And, you know, people in my generation have a tendency to think that anything you make at home is better than anything you make at a store. And that may be true, but these store-bought cookies that are shortbread cookies with raspberry jam in the middle from Joe's, Trader Joe's, these are my absolute favorite store-bought cookies right now, whether they're heart-shaped or not. I believe in England, people call these Jammie Dodgers. If you're from the United Kingdom or some other place where they might be called that. Is this a Jammie Dodger? You know, a cookie sandwich with jam in the middle? That's what I call them. I'm not really a person with a massive sweet tooth, but I've really been eating way too many of these cookies this week. But they're about to run out, and I don't go to Trader Joe's. A friend of our family brings us treats from there every once in a while, and knowing I love these cookies, they brought me way too many, and I've basically just been making complete total glutton of myself eating them. But I have one here, and I have my cup of coffee in my trusty red thermal mug, and so having a good morning. Let's see, Scholastic Book Fair. I talked about my cookies. Remember to answer the question about Jammie Dodgers. Let's see what else I put on my phone. Oh, the Republic of Consciousness long list is out, and I'm not going to go into that in too much detail, but if you are waiting for what is my favorite book prize, other than the BookTube prize, which is the Republic of Consciousness prize, that long list is out. I'll leave a link to the description down below. There are several titles on the long list that I definitely want to read. I have to be honest with you, there are a few titles on the long list that I also have no interest in reading, and I had contemplated, you know, reading the entire Republic of Consciousness long list, and I still kind of am. There's no way, by the way, I'm going to get it done before they cut down to the short list. So if I haven't made up my mind by the time I get to the short list, maybe I'll just read the short list, or maybe I'll do what I've done in the past and just pick a few books from the list to read, because there are some on there I definitely want to read. But if you're interested in the Republic of Consciousness prize, which, by the way, is a literary prize given through an English university, can't remember exactly which one it is, but it'll say on the website. And it's given to presses or publishers with 5 or fewer full-time employees. And so it kind of rewards the small presses. And I really think that's great. And I like the idea, and I like reading books from small presses. And this is one way where I find them. So I'll leave, like I said, I'll leave a link to the Republic of Consciousness Prize long list, which I think came out yesterday, down below. Oh, by the way, there's also a video I saw from Eric Carl Anderson in which he talks about each book. Eric knows way more about these books, way more about books in general than I do. So I'll try to remember to leave a link to his video down below as well, because it's really good about the prize and about those books. This week, my reading, I finished my third BookTube prize book. I've been reading those BookTube prize books so far, strictly speaking, on my Kindle, so I won't be showing those to you. And I like to keep the group I'm doing a secret. I don't know why, but I do like to keep the group I'm doing a secret until it's time to submit the ballots, and then we know what's going on. So I won't be talking about those books, but I did get through 2 of those books this week. I also finished one of my major reading projects for this month, which was to read the 1619 Project. This book has been controversial primarily for one statement that was in the New York Times magazine section about the 1619 Project, or from which the 1619 Project, the book, grew. And that was a statement that, that something along the lines of most of the Founding Fathers wanted to declare independence because they were worried about the ending of slavery. And the author of the initial essay for the 1619 Project, both in the newspaper and here in the book, Nicole Hannah-Jones, did change that to some from most. But because of that, there's this belief that the 1619 Project is bad history and not historically accurate. And some historians took some exception with the way in which some facts were interpreted. And this is something I want to talk about, and something I've talked about before, so this won't take very long. History is not just a recording of facts. When historians write history, they are inevitably applying their own point of view to the historical facts they see. As I think I pointed out, I might have read a quote to you from Annette Gordon Reed's on Juneteenth. As she points out in this book, no 2 historians read the same document the same way. And certainly a historian's background, their knowledge, their training, etc. is going to influence how they interpret a historical document. And what the writing of history really is a constant revising of history from different points of view to include different points of view, etc. And that's what this is. That doesn't make it bad history. Revisionist history is history. It's not bad history. Okay? And this is distinctly a look at almost all the phases of American history through the lens of its relationship, the relation of those events to slavery and to the Jim Crow South and to discrimination, which carried on long after that. And so it's definitely looking at those things through those lenses. And you may say, well, that disqualifies immediately. How can we call that history? I'm telling you, we've been interpreting these same events in American history through the lens of white historians for all of our history. That doesn't make their interpretation more right. It's just as the interpretation more of us learned. Okay? And what this book seeks to do is to reset that and to make us relook at these things. And that makes it a valuable work of history. And what the book really is, as I mentioned to you before, is a series of essays on various topics, from origin of slavery to how African Americans have been discriminated against in terms of health care and still are, to how even the construction of highways like the interstate highways were used to create segregation. And it's a series of essays by different authors. Almost all of them are historians or other university professors from some of the most prestigious universities in the United States of America. These people definitely know what they're doing, and they definitely know their facts. There's an extensive notes in the back of the book documenting all the things that are said in this book and backing them all up. And so this is good history. You may read it and disagree with it. You may read it and think, well, I don't think that's the proper interpretation of that document. That doesn't make this bad history. It makes it a valuable work of history for at the very least, challenging your perception and making you rethink and reestablish what you actually believe. But I think it's really good. And I think if it were read more widely, which hopefully it will be, because it is one of those books which is at the focus of modern day book banning. So this goes with my Read Ban Books 2022 also idea. But if more people read it, I think we would see, and we will see because of books like this, a reinterpretation or a reviewing of events from American history through the eyes of people who were frequently not asked, and whose words and lives and deeds were not recorded, and whose interpretation of events and take on events was not taken seriously. And if you dismiss this out of hand by saying, well, of course, they put slavery and civil rights and Jim Crow at the center of American history, all the authors, or almost all the authors, are black, stop for a minute and ask yourself what you just said. Why would the interpretations, the writings of black historians be any less valid than the interpretations and writings of white historians who you may have read and who you may agree with more. Just, I think a really good book and a valuable book to have out there. I'm also involved in Big Group Read, led by Kazen, of James Baldwin's The Price of a Ticket. She talked about our first check-in. I'll try to leave a link to her video down below as well. This is going really well. As is true with any book of essays, or to me short stories, they vary in the amount in which they work for me, but Baldwin's voice is really powerful, and has taken his assessment of things, I think, just really unique and really incredibly open-minded and open-hearted writing. That's kind of what I would talk about with Baldwin's essays here. But that's been going well. And I started also reading The Last Thing You Surrendered by Leonard Pitts. To be honest with you, I'm kind of at that point in the month where I've hit a bit of a reading slump. And it's taken me, surprisingly, it's taken me a while to get into this, because everybody says it's a page turner and I'm looking forward to it, but I just haven't been able to kind of come down off the, hey, this is a serious work of history high. I was on the 1619 project, and maybe I should have read it in a different order. And I also did buy a Kindle edition of Audre Lorde's Sister Outsider, which I hope to get those essays read this month as well, and maybe sneak in a 4th BookTube prize book this month to free up some of my more of my reading in March. So I just want to also real quickly just give a shout out to all the people who responded to my tag with to my Read Banned Books 2022 tag by making a video. I've created a playlist, and I will leave a link to that playlist at the end of this video. It may show up here anytime. Please click on that and watch that. And if you were tagged, please, if you get a chance to do the tag and highlight a banned book. If I didn't tag you through oversight, or just messed up, please do the tag and use the hashtag ReadBannedBooks2022 so I can add you to the playlist, so that we here on BookTube can at least make a statement about government efforts to ban books and to eliminate information from our school libraries and from public school classes. I think that's it. Yep, I've run through everything on my list, so that's it. As always, I look forward to your comments in the comment section down below, and thank you for watching.